y'all, Jen Hernandez, Loan with Jen. Today we are talking about flipping a house within 90 days, whether you are a buyer buying a house that was flipped or whether you're a seller, you want to watch this video. Okay, y'all, we're back. So first I'm going to define a flip. A flip is actually defined by FHA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, VA, all the same, is actually when it's changing hands from seller to buyer within 180 days of acquisition. That can be the seller transferring title, they could have bought it on the foreclosure steps. It doesn't matter how they got in title, unless it was a foreclosure actually, and it's a bank that we're talking about. These rules apply. Okay, so lenders have their radar on to make sure that they're not caught red-handed with values super below the price that they're loaning. That's why they care about this 6-month cooling off period. So that's what a flip is. Now, FHA and conventional, we're going to go through depending on what type of loan that you have, whether you're a buyer or a seller. Again, this is going to affect you. So, number one, FHA loans. On an FHA loan, you cannot enter into a contract until the 91st day. So FHA will not allow a contract that's dated within 90 days. They require a cooling off period. That's all I can tell you. So that's their rule. So if you're accepting an offer on a home from an FHA buyer, you need to be in the know on this. So if you want to sell it within the 90 days, you have to get conventional buyers only or cash, okay? So the other thing to know on a home that's a flip or considered as a flip, as we defined before, is there possibly will be 2 appraisals. So lenders will ask if the seller will disclose the acquisition price in a non-disclosure state like Texas is, where I live. It's not mandatory, so check the rules of your state. Again, it's not mandatory that they release it. It helps the transaction out. We have to run it through this automated system that FHA requires. And there's some tolerance levels. If it's exceeding a certain tolerance, it'll spit out wanting a second appraisal. So sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it does. So there's no set number. It's just it's all a computer module. So on a conventional loan, we're going to go to conventional now. So the 90-day rule about the contract does not apply to conventional. You can get into contract at any time after the seller acquired the property. However, it's still considered a flip within that 6-month rule that we talked about. So appraisals, again, if the seller will disclose what they purchased for the property, we put it into a system. And again, it's a modulation that will calculate whether or not we need a second appraisal. And again, it's not always required. So hopefully the seller will disclose that. If they don't, it's a non-disclosure state in Texas. They don't have to. 2 appraisals likely will have to be done at that point. 2 appraisals isn't a problem for us, but it can be, number one, it can be a burden on everybody in the transaction. When you've got a nice, healthy market and a house that's fairly priced, it might take longer. It also might blow a deal up that is normally gonna go in a normal market. So it's something that we have to go through. So be aware that a flip, anytime you want to buy or sell a property within 90 days, these are the risk factors of things that you need to pay attention to. I hope you've learned a lot from this video, and we'll talk to you soon. Legacy Mutual Mortgage is an equal housing opportunity lender. The opinions expressed here do not reflect those of Legacy Mutual Mortgage.